Hello, beautiful souls. I hope you're doing well. Today, I wished to do a little bit of a one of those more personal videos I do sometimes to share with you some of my reflections, my life reflections, and it's really kind of raw videos where I'm not, no makeup, and behind me, what you see is a bit of a mess because presently I am revamping my personal space, my little one-room studio where been living for 5 years. And I needed a change because, it's been the same for the last 5 years. And also I felt a need that a lot of things are changing within myself. So I felt that my living space needed to reflect this. So it's a bit messy here. You have like paint gallons here and, all kinds of things happening in the background. So I apologize for the mess, but it's okay because it's a rough video. So um, I promised to you that I would eventually do a video to express a little bit more about some of the reflections I've had lately, especially following the reading of the book Koldas by Elena Danaan, which has really had a profound impact on my life and my inner journey. So I know that it has been the case for many people. And so I felt like sharing that with you today because, it's something I always do in this kind of galactic disclosure community I'm part of, is that I like to be true and real and authentic about certain reflections or certain things I go through, because we all are on an inner journey. And I think that bringing forward what we go through in our own inner journey is a way to also perhaps help others or support others in their own journey and realize that they're not by themselves, they're not alone in going through what they go through. So here it is for today. Sorry, I'm just going to have a bit of tea here. So it's a Monday, Easter Monday. When you're a self-entrepreneur, there's no such thing as off days. But still, I feel the mood is a bit more relaxed today since I've been doing a little bit of revamping of my apartment, and I'm not done because everything behind me still needs to be kind of updated. But you'll see that in the next video at some point. So what I wanted to share with you today is very intimate, very personal. So I was at first hesitant to do such a video because for me, it was a bit, I don't know, I felt like maybe it was a bit intense to bring that to people I don't know. Obviously, a lot of you I know, but also people I don't know. And I thought, well, it's okay. We're all humans and we're all going through issues. And I think sharing about them is an act of courage and probably a support to others. So I thought I will do it. So basically what happened is that when I read the book Koldas, it's a book like I've explained, and if you want, you can check my video that is entitled Koldas Beyond Neptune, a book review, which is a more kind of formal book review that I do for the index and bibliography, electronic index and bibliography I do for Elena Danaan. But I mentioned there a couple of elements regarding how this book has transformed me, because this book is not only through the action, to the adventures, to the events, through the events, but also through the energies that are really imbued in this book from Elena and her contacts, galactic contacts. This really plays an important role and transformative role, really, for each of us that read it, because it's just really, really powerful, and you have to read it to understand it. So I'm not going to get too much into the book because I've done that in the book review already. But what I wanted to say is that this has been the trigger, for me. And I think it was the trigger because it was the perfect timing. I think I was at that place at that moment where the book arrived at the perfect timing when I needed to explore some of my unresolved issues or emotions that I still had to transmute. And, we're always on a healing and inner journey, as, I keep been saying for the last 5 years and 40 years that I've been on that spiritual journey, but that's another story. And so this book has triggered in me is an opening of the heart. And it was interesting because I received this book on the morning of my day off on a Wednesday. I only take one day off on Wednesdays, and I usually try not to be on electronics, and I go, do something fun or different. And that day, I remember it was interesting. It was about a month ago. My dad was in vacation because my dad is still working, and he had offered myself and him a session of massotherapy, because he knows I can't afford that kind of thing right now with my financial situation. So it was a beautiful gift, and I went to the massotherapist. And it's funny because she offered me this massage, and I suddenly cried for the complete hour of the massage. And you have to know something about me is that even though I'm a very kind of open person and kind of emotional person, I rarely cry, and I've rarely cried for the last 15 years, for reasons I will come back to in a minute. But I never cry in public, and I rarely even never cry at home by myself. Like, I just don't cry. I've become very kind of, I had dissociated myself a lot from my emotions by being very functional in my mind and, very analytical. And so I think a lot of things suddenly like happened when I think maybe it was the way she was doing this kind of healing at the same time she was doing the massage. It really opened my heart. And she said to me, there is like a big kind of armor around your heart. And then I cried even more and even more, even more, even more. Anyway, so that was kind of the catalyst, or the thing that opened, like a little opening there in my heart. And what happened is that I read Koldas the same day, crying, but like in one day I read Koldas, and then for the next 3 days I cried without stopping. I mean, just literally sobbed for 3 days. And that's not something I do, like never, never. I barely have like a couple of tears here, and I sobbed for 3 days. So obviously, like I said, it had to do with the energies of Koldas, but I think it was opening my heart. And perhaps the massage also helped through the connection of the body. But what came out of this kind of opening of the heart was really a multiplicity of things. The first thing had to do with the kind of early trauma. I don't know if it was an early trauma, but I would say I've been, it's something that might come from previous lives. It might come from, early childhood. And it's also something that happened again and again in my life as I've recreated that pattern with, previous partners or people I was interested in or things like that. And that actual pattern was, and it was hard for me to identify it. So I asked my inner child, as I was sobbing like a baby, I asked my inner child, I said, what is it you feel like? Why are you crying? And what that inner child said is, I'm screaming in the void and nobody can hear me. And the image I was having was that of a child either lying on a crib or lying on the table strapped, or lying underground and dumps. So I think it's a multiplicity of memories or unresolved traumas or things. But I just saw like a child that was unable to move. And when that child was screaming for help, its voice was not resounding. People could not hear her. So it was very traumatic. Like, I could just thinking about that was making me cry again, made me cry again. So I realized that somehow in my adult life, I have repeated this pattern of putting myself in a situation where I would have my own needs, and I would try to ask for help, but then I wouldn't be able to, like, my voice would not be heard. Like, people would not know that I was actually inside screaming for help. And this is why I've been, like I said many times, I have been suicidal in the past, not anymore. And, because it's like a silent scream within that nobody can hear. And I've realized that throughout my life, I've repeated that pattern by either, for example, having love interests with a man that would not be interested in me. And then I would be like, just like kind of following him and be like, oh, I want you to love me or whatever. And, and I had a particular experience like that 15 years ago, which probably is the reason why as well I haven't been in a relationship for the last 15 years, is that I fell in love with a man. I don't know if it was real love. I think it was more passion, or how do you call that? Something intense you have for someone, which is not necessarily love. It's more like a sort of a passion. And this gentleman was not attracted to me in return, and he was kind of a friend, but he realized how intensely attracted to him I was, so he kind of moved away. And it took me 3 years to actually move on from this love interest. And my heart was really, really broken then. Really, 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 really was broken. So I realized that after it took me like 15 years, I haven't been with someone. And I thought I had done that beautiful healing journey of grieving process for that love interest that never worked, and for my broken heart. But I think I did the healing with my head, with my mind. But I don't think I brought the healing within my heart and my body. And I think that what I cried for 3 days that day, those days after Koldas, was not only that grieving process that wasn't done in my heart. So I cried this finally. I think I cried as well some of my grieving process from my mom passing on 3 years ago. I cried a lot of things, everything that was in my heart that I was keeping kind of repressed. So what that made me realize is that this notion of the screaming child in the void that's not being heard is something I've recreated constantly, even in my community, like in a way unconsciously wanting to be heard. Not, I don't think I was like really that much of an attention seeking person, but somehow a part of me was looking to be heard. And I think it's a natural need. Everybody needs to be heard, because I don't have a partner. I live by myself. I don't have people around me. So, I think it's just a natural, healthy thing to want to, for like one human in the world to actually care for you and hear what your needs are. But what often happened in the last few years, especially in the community I've been in this disclosure community, is that I've been listening to a lot of people's needs and stories, but I was having a hard time sharing about my own stories. And the only way I could actually express myself, and when people would actually listen to me and take the time to listen to me, was when I was doing these videos. Because, often in conversations, often things would turn into what that person had to say, and I would be just a listener in the big ear. And I've been getting tired of this and exhausted from just always being the kind of people pleaser that was just hearing and listening to people while not being heard myself, or very little. So I realized that unconsciously I brought in my way of exchanging with people in the community, which was my only social life, basically I was kind of attention seeking. Let's say things, I don't want to judge myself or hurt myself, but it was an unconscious attention seeking thing. And because I wasn't heard, I wasn't listened to, and I felt like I was screaming in the void and nobody was hearing me. And that was really, really painful and very difficult. So in the end, I ended up kind of isolating myself in the community and just staying on Telegram and, not wanting to go on other social media and not talk to people. I don't want people to reach to me because I was tired of being just a big ear and nobody really truly caring about what I was going through. And so I've isolated myself so much that I ended up being in a kind of close circle where I was just, working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week on my creations, on my transmissions by the Mila Collective, my artwork, and doing Elena's index, and just losing myself in that without, having any social life, and just being completely isolated and cut off from people and cut off from my emotions and cut off for a partner and cut off from everything. And obviously it was extremely unhealthy. And something more is that I've realized that I've been the self-entrepreneur or self-employed person for the last 18, since 2018. It's been a while now. And I've been trying to live out of my art and my creations for all these years. And it's, again, I have I came to the conclusion that I can't live out of my art. And it's really, 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 really super difficult for me. It's a real grieving process because the first things that comes to my mind is that, well, if people don't buy my art, it's because it's not beautiful, even though it's bringing high frequencies and it's original and it's different. And I try to bring my art in different kind of media, originals and digital files and t-shirts and my videos and everything. But it's just, it's just not, I'm not able to live. I've been living on a loan for more than a year, and I'm at the end of my loan, and I don't have money anymore. So I'm at a place where I need to find at least a part-time job to complement my very meager income. So I'm not saying this to make myself look like a victim or to be pitied or for people to suddenly like, oh, poor thing, I'm going to give her a donation or buy her an artwork. No, that's not why I'm sharing this. I want you to know that the reason why I'm saying this is I'm saying this not in the place of a victim, but in the place of a sovereign being. And I've asked myself, well, why? Like I kind of asked the universe, but also the Mela Collective, which is my guidance and my soul group, my galactic family group. Why my art is not selling? Why are people not interested in, or very little in, in what I do? Because people buy T-shirts, but people don't realize that, boutiques like Spreadshop, the person only gets like 10% of the sales, so unless people buy original collages, I'm not able to live from my sales. So it's a little bit difficult. And what the Mela Collective kind of inspired me to realize is that the reason why my art is not selling, it's not because it's not beautiful, it's not because it's not high vibe, it's not, and the reason why people are not inviting me for interviews to like showcase my art or, things like that. It's not because what I do is not beautiful or is not worthy or is not interesting, because, obviously I tell myself that because I'm thinking, well, why is it not working? I realized that it's because indeed life is telling me that if I was to be able to completely live out of my artwork, I would stay in that little closed bubble where I would just create art, create my videos, and stay isolated from others. And as I've mentioned in a video I did some years ago where I explained the journey of my soul, where I left from the Lyran zone and I went to the Pleiades, and why did I incarnate here on Terra? Because I needed to be engaging with humans, with Terrans. It was part of my mission, and not just like enclose myself in my one-room apartment and create art. And I thought I could help people just by creating art, but I don't think it's enough. And it seems that I need to interact with other people more, even though because I'm hypersensitive, people exhaust me and they tire me, and I feel that they're taking a lot of my energy. But I do feel in another way, and that's what the Mela Collective was telling me, is that in a way, I need to stop being completely enclosed in a one-room apartment and just live in a closed bubble. So what the Mela Collective, again, was telling me is that they don't tell me that I should stop creating my art, my videos, my index for Elena, but that I should complement my creativity. This is because this is my bliss, this is really what I felt, and I use the word in quotes, was my mission on Terra. And then suddenly you're there and you know what your mission is, and so many people are looking for their mission, and finally I found my mission, but then I can't live from it, so it's like I'm thinking to myself, this is so unfair, but then life or the Mela Collective is telling me, no, it's okay, it is part of your mission to do that, so continue your art, continue your videos, continue your index, perhaps to do just a little bit less. And then it's really important that you stay open-minded and open-hearted to suggestions, to opportunities of work part-time that would give you an extra income first, which you need to live. And for me, it's not so much to live, of course, obviously, but also because it's really important for me to be able to travel, because I'm a free soul. I don't have children. I don't have a partner. I love traveling. It's my favorite activity in the world after creating. So if I'm not able to travel, I kind of desiccate. I become like a mummy. I need to travel, because not only do I need to see Tera's beauty and share it through the videos and things, but also I need the physical human contact with people I love, with friends I want to go see. I would love to go to the J6, but I can't afford them. And, I don't, it's no fault of Danny. It's just, I don't generate any income. So obviously I'm not able to go to G6 or to Rencontre Galactique, and that's really, really painful for me, not to be able to attend these events and see my friends mostly, which is mostly what I want to do, because, I follow the community so closely that what the speakers bring is wonderful. It's great, but it's, for me, these events are mostly an opportunity to meet my friends in person and be with them. So I'm thinking, or feeling instead, that instead of seeing that obligation to accept a part-time job or look for a part-time job, and seeing myself as a victim and as like, oh, people are not buying my art and I'm a victim. And instead, it's more like the universe is telling me, no, compliment your beautiful mission and creations and what you share, the high frequencies and high vibration you bring to the world through your art, through your videos, through the index. But then accept that you have to also open yourself to the world and let the world come in through work relations, through a job, maybe work outside a little bit more, rather than always be like 10 hours in front of a computer, which is not good for my eyes, my eye issues. And then you'll have more money, more financial abundance, more financial freedom. You'll be able to travel, to attend these beautiful galactic events, attend, friends, meetings, and opportunities to be with friends you love so much. So I have to say, what I'm sharing with you today is that for me, I'm still in a place where I have to accept and do the grieving process that I'm not able to live completely out of my creative practice. It's super, super hard for me, because I feel like I failed. I really feel like I failed creatively, that what I brought or what I did bring was not good enough. And I'm starting slowly to accept that it's not of course, not everybody's going to like my art, and that's perfectly okay. But it's not because my art is not good enough, or it's not beautiful enough, or it's not high vibe enough. It's because I need to complement it by another practice. So I asked the Mela Collective, I was like, I don't want to go and look for a horrible job like Neo in the Matrix, where you're in those cubicles where you do something you hate. And since the pandemics, I've been terrified of looking for a 3D job out there, and it was like horrible. And in any case, the Mela Collective told me, no, you have to just be trustful of the universe. An opportunity would come to you. You will receive an opportunity of a part-time job that will give you this kind of freedom, and it will be aligned, financial freedom, and it will be aligned with your values and what your interests and things like that. So this is where I am now. I just wanted to share that with you today. This is also why, for now, and I'm saying for now, and probably for Eastbourne, because obviously Eastbourne is in 3 weeks from now. So probably this year again, I won't be able to attend J6 and Rencontre Galactique, but we never know if I do find this part-time job, or if suddenly my creative practice, gets a little bit more visible or appreciated, or if I sell more original collages, which is basically the only way I can really have an income. The spreadshirt and the t-shirts, it's nice, but I mean, I only make like a couple of dollars on each sale. So it's not, but if I am able to sell more original or digital files, or if I'm able to have suddenly an opportunity of part-time job, then I would be able to join, many of you, not only through these beautiful events like JSEC and Rencontre Galactique, but also maybe travel the world, go to Europe or to North America, somewhere in the States, and meet my beautiful friends. I know it's a difficult period for everyone right now. Everybody's struggling financially. So I don't want to look like I'm a victim in any way. I'm responsible for my choices I made in 2018 to leave my really kind of safe job at University of Montreal library clerk and to be a full-time creator. And, it's my decision. It's just that now I have to accept that I perhaps need to open my world a little bit more to other opportunities. And perhaps as well, I have to open my heart to all kinds of opportunities, not just for work, but also for friendship and God knows what. So I wanted to share that with you today. I know it's a little bit personal, but I wanted to share why, I've been so profoundly touched by Koldas and how immensely profound this book has transformed me, and how now I feel much more calm, much less like eager to like have that attention, because somehow I felt that I don't need to be this screaming child in the void anymore. Like now I just get up sovereign and I just do what I want to do or ask what I need and express myself rather than just hoping people will, kind of guess, or people will like guess that what my needs are or what I need or what I want. And, without me having to scream to tell them. And, which was a bit infant-like and a bit ridiculous. Not ridiculous, I don't want to judge myself, but it was just not realistic to think that people would have to guess my needs. It's from my place, it's my place to know what my needs are and to respond to them and give what I need to myself. And if people want to participate in that, that's good. But so that's it for today. I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you have a lovely day. And I hope this reflection will help some of you in some of your own reflections regarding either past traumas or healing or your relationship to money, to your mission in life, to, everything inside of you. Sending you love. Bye. Hello, beautiful souls. I am passionate about what I do every day. I do it with enthusiasm, with great joy, and with great love. And I'm following my bliss every day of my life. And I do this through the artwork that I create that brings high frequencies and high vibrations to people in general. These beautiful creations accompany some transmissions, high frequency and high vibration transmissions I receive from my galactic soul group, through which I'm connected through the heart. And I also have created and maintain on a daily basis and on a voluntary basis a electronic index that showcases and support Elena Danaan's beautiful work and information regarding galactic disclosure and star nations. I do this 6 days a week. I work more than full time. It's something I do really, really passionately with lots of love, and I do it for the good of everyone, and because I love doing it, because it brings value to everyone, to others. However, as a self-entrepreneur, I don't have any other source of income than the selling of my artwork. So if you find that what I create, what I offer to you, often for free with the videos and with the Elena Danaan's index, which is also for free, if you find that this brings value to you and you wish to support my work, and I have no expectations and only gratitude if you choose to support me in any way, there's two options to do that. Either you can purchase some of my artwork through my boutique at abigaëllerichard.com/art shop. Or you can also offer a donation through PayPal. There's a button on my website at abigaëllerichard.com. If you wish to do so, there's also a PayPal button on Elena Danaan's index. And that's a way to support my work, because I have no time to have any other exterior job. This is my my artwork and donations are my only income. And so if you wish to do that, again, I have no expectations, and it's just simply I will be in gratitude for this beautiful exchange of energy. In a way we offer each other mutually this form of love through an amount of money. And so thank you very much in advance if you wish to support my work. Take great care of yourself. Bye. Ooh.